The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Oh, man.
It is a fabulous Football Friday edition of Mick Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola, and it's a Victory Friday as well. Senior not the Senior Bowl. It's the Senior Pros.
Senior pros, as opposed to the senior college boys.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were so closely aligned.
Ah, yes. Here it is. Cowboys going for 4 in a row, just a few miles away from the birthplace of one Jerry Jones.
That's right.
And it was nearly 80 years ago that Jerry Jones was born, just miles away from SoFi Stadium.
Nearly
80 years ago.
Nearly 80 years.
Next Thursday is
Next
the big
Thursday.
day.
That's right.
That's right.
We're counting down. Should we
So,
count
should
down?
this is this?
Should we count down to Jerry's birthday?
Well, I think a good countdown. He needs 2 wins. He needs 2 birthday presents the next 2 weeks. He needs an early birthday present on Sunday and a late birthday present in Philadelphia the following.
So did I hear this right? His birthday in Switzer's the same, or
No, they're
close?
like a week
week apart?
Switzer just turned 85.
Okay, all right.
Yep, like October 5th, something like that.
Did you hear that?
Yesterday, maybe?
Wait. Barry's older than Jerry?
Oh yeah,
5 years.
He
Yep.
he was he was coaching them at Arkansas.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Huh.
Yep.
Did not know that.
So they had Switzer on.
Yesterday on the ticket.
Yeah. Did you hear it?
I heard.
Did you hear
it,
what
yeah.
happened?
Yeah. Jerry called.
They punked him.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Gordon did Jerry's voice.
Fake Jerry called.
Fake
yeah.
Jerry, right? And he was going along with it, and then he goes, "Jerry, is that your ass?" it was Gordon.
That's so
imitating
Switzer.
him,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Right? That is so Switzer.
The boys got me, my old Berkner alum, Ben and Skin. They got me one day with a punk call.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I can't remember what happened. We were talking about a bunch of crap, and I don't even know who I thought he was. And then finally, you just kind of catch on.
Right.
Like, okay, this is going off the rails here. Who is this? You know. And, of course, they were my alumni, Ben and Skin from Berkner.
Speaking of Switzer, of course, it's either Texas OU weekend or OU Texas
right.
weekend, however you want to phrase it. And, so Barry headed down here, may already be here for it, which reminds me when you the word that you used there, Mickey, or that Barry used, reminds me of an old story where Gerald Ford, that Switzer talks about, Gerald Ford learned what it was like coming down the ramp at the Cotton Bowl at an OU Texas game in 1976. He was in town for the coin flip, and as Barry Switzer, Darrell Royal, and Gerald Ford headed down the ramp to go flip the coin, and Switzer tells the story, an OU fan leans over the railing and says, "Hey, who are those 2 a-holes with Switzer?" That's all you need to know about the ramp at the Cotton Bowl.
That's Texas for you there, buddy.
That's right.
Oh, man.
It's also Switzer.
So here we are. It's fabulous. This,
You
by
think
the
they
way,
would do that? You think they would do that at a Big Ten game, Michigan and Ohio State or something like that? Wasn't one Ford from Michigan?
yeah, he's Michigan.
Yeah.
Michigan man. Yeah, that's right.
Wonder how many
that's-
confrontations he's had.
Yeah, that's a good
Come
one.
on.
He actually played, I believe.
exactly.
If I remember
That's right.
correctly.
Yeah. So this is annually my favorite football weekend of the year because of the game. And even when we take our lumps, which is going to happen on Saturday, here's a reason to tune in. The number 1 pick in the draft is going to be playing quarterback for the Texans. Not this year's number 1 pick, but an eventual number 1 pick in the draft is going to be playing quarterback for the Texas Longhorns
That may
tomorrow.
be
and that
the
would be
difference
Quinn
in this
Ewers.
game.
Well, no, the difference in the game, it doesn't matter whether he's playing or not, but we'll see.
Quit being so negative.
But have you seen our team play the last couple of weeks?
I saw
Man,
it.
Yeah.
so disappointed.
So,
Jeez.
but it's in great hands with Brent Venables, I'll say that. But anyway, so that's a reason to tune in at 11 a.m. tomorrow. This is, by the way, the only Big 12 game involving unranked teams. All four of the other Big 12 games have ranked teams playing against each other. And the game of the day, much to your chagrin, Mickey Spagnola,
Kansas
is unbeaten Kansas hosting unbeaten TCU, and College Game Day is in Lawrence, Kansas for it.
For the first time since 2007.
Really?
I believe I read.
Okay.
What is going on in Kansas, man? They are doing some things.
You know what? They got a bunch of transfer portal guys from big schools, and they're
Which is how Sonny Dykes did it at SMU and at TCU.
And what's
too.
the guy's name? Leipold? Leipold?
I'm not exactly sure how you
to
pronounce
say
the
it,
last name, but Lance is the first name.
He's done one heck of a job.
Yep.
That reminds
And
me
got
of
some players.
That reminds me of Aqib Talib's Kansas squad.
That's right.
Back
That's
in
right.
the day, they
You know,
came out of nowhere.
We talked about it maybe at the beginning of this week, where they went to the Orange Bowl 15 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, when when the Big 12 screwed Missouri over, sent Kansas to the Orange Bowl.
Missouri beat Kansas.
Okay.
And then Missouri went to the Big 12 championship game and lost to Oklahoma. And yet Kansas, that was their only loss of the year for Kansas. Kansas got to go to the Orange Bowl. And
Where'd you guys go?
We went to the SEC.
Oh, okay. You went to your doom. You went to your doom.
No, we went where they were going to pay some money. And
There you go. And then you got doomed. Yeah.
that was a great lie.
Yeah, after they went to the conference championship game.
Hey, did you watch any Thursday night football last night?
I basically almost finished my Friday column last night watching that game.
Okay.
I bet you did, because
there wasn't nothing to watch, right?
Nothing to watch. You had no distractions whatsoever.
So did they figure out when's the last time there was an overtime game with no touchdowns?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
12,
you know.
12-9. No, I'm asking.
Oh, I thought maybe you
at
already
one
had the
point,
answer.
at one point in the game, there was no touchdown. It was the first time this year that there were no touchdowns scored in the first half of a game. I remember them saying that. So, 12-9. 12-9.
And it was that the game, the score makes it sound more exciting than the game actually was.
Because we just talked yesterday about one of the greatest games in Cowboys history was a 5-0
right?
Playoff win over the Lions. And by the way, Everson, you may remember this. That was 2 weeks after the Cowboys beat Cleveland 6-2 in a game, which was another great game. And then we were talking about the doomsday defense. You don't necessarily have to score a lot of points to have a great football game, as evidenced by that.
But this game was not about defensive excellence. It was about just offensive mishaps.
Ineptitude.
And ineptitude. Thank you. That's a good word there, wordsmith. I like that. and you know, it was just so hard to watch. It's like I was on the phone talking with someone, and I forgot that a game was actually looking at me. You know, that's just how bad it was. It wasn't even enough to be a distraction.
The game went into overtime, and the Denver fans were streaming out of the stadium. They didn't even stay for overtime.
I don't blame them because that's the last thing I wanted was for who Denver play?
Seattle.
Seattle was for Seattle to come down and kick that field.
No,
it was
not Seattle. Indianapolis. Sorry,
The Colts
I was thinking Wilson.
For the Colts to come down and kick that field goal.
Yeah.
I did not want that. When they started driving down, like, man, this game is not going into overtime.
I was sitting there going, they're on Mountain Time. They don't have to get home for the news at 10 o'clock.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you what. Do you think they're sort of starting to rethink that trade for Russell Wilson?
Well, you know, you can trade for Russell, but get him some help. Because I can see why Russell came there. You're looking at what Cooper Rush is doing right now, and really even Aaron Rodgers. You're going to allow you're playing to your defense, like Nate always talking. You're playing to your defense.
Right.
Russell came there thinking, we got a heck of a defense here. Really could be one of the best defenses in at least in the conference. And they can help me right along until we get our offensive scheme together. In the meantime, defense, you hold it down.
And
that's
they did.
why he came there.
Yeah.
But offensively, they still have so much, injuries, obviously. The running back's going down. I think a couple of offensive linemen went down. And now you're sitting there with a horrible offense. And the defense they're kind of, what's that, side eye? The defense is giving the offense a side eye.
Like
hey,
seriously?
man, what the hell are you guys
wide
doing?
receiver K.J. Hamler is giving Russell Wilson the side.
I heard about
last
that.
play.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Well, is that number one?
He was wide open on the right
He was
side.
wide open.
Now, having said that, go ahead, Everson.
I saw Russell was forced to go to the left. My man was coming from the
and
right.
we don't know what the reads were. I mean, we don't.
But he
know
was
what
looking left the whole time.
Exactly.
Well, he had no choice because everything was convoluted on the right side. He couldn't have made that throw if he wanted to. First of all, he's only 5'10", right? Something like that.
Whatever.
Second of all, those linemen.
There was a guy up in his
It
face.
was two guys that were really coming
Right.
at him and his offensive
And I
lineman.
think that
so
just-
he couldn't even see the guy.
And then when he
it
threw it, I think he couldn't even see where,
was too late then.
like, maybe run the ball.
Well, it was too late then. It was too
Run the
late.
ball.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Which gets back to how about, and we're not going to dissect the whole game because you
No.
go into regulation.
They don't deserve
too,
that.
but-
It doesn't deserve
but-
our time.
But how about the decision by Nathaniel Hackett? It's 4th and 1. Your offense has been awful all day, if not all season.
Especially
and
the last.
Indianapolis offense has also been awful all day, if not all season. Okay. You're down 3. You've got 2 timeouts left with over 2 minutes left in the game. It may have been 3 left. Okay.
I think maybe.
Whatever it was. Okay. You got the 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you basically have 3 timeouts.
Right.
You got the 2-minute warning
I know
and
where
2
you're going.
timeouts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Kick the field goal. Make it a tie game, and then kick off. Rely on your defense to get a 3 and out, and you use your timeouts, and then try to kick a field goal to win the game. You're in the mile-high city where you can kick field goals from 60 yards away.
Right.
Sort of the way the Colts did to tie it up.
Right.
On
But
that last
why
drive.
did Nathaniel Hackett not do that? It goes back to the first game of the year
It sure does.
in Seattle.
It sure
and
does.
that's when he decided to kick a 60-yard field goal that was no good and
That's
not
right.
put the football in the hands of his $300 million quarterback.
Because they said that's
And
why
so
you
now,
signed him.
and
This
so
is the moment.
This time, he made this decision because, by golly, I'm putting it in the hands of my quarterback, Russell
You wanted
Wilson.
it, you got
And,
it. Yeah.
and what I exclaimed when I saw that play, that's the best play you've got
Exactly.
with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and that's the problem. You're gonna use your Superman, but you using it. You don't use him in the proper manner. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different thing.
Now he's got a offensive assistant upstairs
That's right.
with veteran
Advice.
head
Well, that
coaching.
came from the first game of the week.
Yeah.
That's why they signed the veteran
Yeah, right,
assistant.
That's right.
upstairs.
And
Yeah.
the second week.
Right.
There's also I wasn't watching the second week, but against Houston, similar things happened. That's when they
It
hired
all
him.
goes back to what Parcells would say: whatever works was the right decision. And,
Well, that didn't work.
it sure didn't work.
No.
Having said,
And by
having
the
said
way,
that, you got to make it work, whatever you call.
Yeah.
I believe is what he's trying to say.
how good does the Tyler Smith draft pick look for the Cowboys
Mm-hmm.
right now?
Yeah, baby.
And how much criticism did the Cowboys get making that draft
A
pick?
whole lot.
Especially from this guy over here.
No.
Come on, man.
No, because
Come
you didn't.
on,
You
man.
didn't. look
You
at
were
it.
the one that said they took a guard, and I said, no, I don't want
said
a
take
guard.
Tyler Smith. That's what I said.
But they didn't take a guard. They
I
took
know,
a
they
tackle.
took a tackle.
Who was going to play guard first, and then Tyron got hurt. All right. If you don't take Tyler Smith at 23 or whatever it was in the first round, okay, the Cowboys pick.
Okay.
All right. The next offensive tackle you probably would take would be the guy that was out there for Indianapolis yesterday. Bernhard Raymond.
Well, that's what everybody wanted him to take.
He was the third-round pick.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a guy that Seattle took, Abraham Lucas, in the third round, who's playing great at right tackle for Seattle early this season. His
Yeah,
rookie
but
year.
Tyler Smith's playing left.
Exactly.
we
you
need
need
left.
you need a
We
left tackle.
needed left,
And
yes.
and Seattle took a left tackle with their first round pick up in the
Right.
top 10. So cross. So, But that is what the Cowboys were looking at on their draft board. Once Trevor Penning went New Orleans at 19 or whatever, and now they're looking at their draft board going, okay, and they had Tyler Smith rated higher than where they took him.
Right.
Okay. And now you see, rightly so, the way he's playing through the first 4 games of his career. But if they didn't take that guy, that's what you were left with. What Indianapolis was playing out there at left tackle.
Which ended up getting their quarterback sacked 6 times. He was under siege the whole game. The whole game.
And they were missing their center. Ryan Kelly was out, too, their center.
I feel so sorry for him. Matty?
Richard, which, by the way, remember I told you about last Thursday night's game, and I wasn't sure who was all on their panel, the post game?
Yes.
And I said one guy was totally out of control.
Yeah.
Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
He was totally out of control last night. He was screaming.
You know why he was screaming?
I know, because he remembered the Super Bowl play on the goal line.
Well, yeah, that could be a point. But my point is this. He was criticized heavily for being suspiciously quiet through the whole concussion thing.
Well, I didn't think he was.
No, well, they were saying that he should have said this was his moment.
You're talking last week.
Last week. This was his moment to say more. And he was highly criticized by a couple of sports writers, and I think he was trying to really make up for that last week.
He overdid it.
I promise. I couldn't hear him, but I saw him talking a lot. Like, he's trying to compensate. He's overcompensating.
I mean, he was ready to come through my TV screen.
Yeah.
And at one point, Fitzpatrick had to go over there and whisper in his ear, and I think he was telling him, hey, you need to settle down.
That's. I'm just telling you, that's an overcompensation for not saying enough about Tua and the things that went on with him last week.
So, and we got to take a break, so we don't have time to really. Well, we'll do this when we come back. All right, Cooper Rush. One of the best things that he has done. What is the best thing that Cooper Rush has done since taking over as the starting quarterback? When we come, besides win games, when we come back here on Mix Shots.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What do you call a group of grown men and women with their faces painted silver and blue who get together every week to share a 3-hour-long ritual of jumping, singing, and toasting Miller Lite in 10-gallon hats while yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" You call it Miller Time in Dallas. Here's to the Cowboys. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. 2021 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mixed Shots.
So, K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, and that's kpostcompany.com.
All right, and we continue with Mick Shots here on a fabulous Football Friday. What is the best thing that Cooper Rush has done besides win games that has enabled this team to win games?
Who wants to go first?
I will. Lack of turnovers.
Oh, that was mine.
It's because you're smart.
Lack of turnovers. Okay.
Actually,
okay. Let's make it.
Has he had a turnover?
Let's make it the top two things that he has done. Because I will agree with you on the turnovers.
Yeah, I guess the turnover, that would be low-hanging fruit if we could all figure that one out. I don't have a second answer for you, but I will say that it overcomes our inability on third downs, not having those turnovers.
This is my suggestion is in concert with his offensive line. That is avoiding the sack.
Interesting. Yeah.
You look at last night's game, Matt Ryan, 6 sacks, 51 yards, and the hidden yardage that comes with that. And Stafford last week or Monday night against the Rams got sacked 7 times. That was not a productive game. They didn't score a touchdown in that game. Let's see, Matt Ryan did not score a touchdown in last night's game, getting sacked 6 times. We saw it with Burrow the first couple of weeks of the season where he got sacked 6 and 7 times.
Have we been let off the hook? Because I don't recall, and maybe it's just because our offensive line is so good at this point. I don't recall him being inundated while he's in the pocket. So I don't see many. Are they laying back, playing zone on Cooper Rush? Because I don't see many blitzes at all. You haven't seen many all-out blitzes to where he's just under duress like that.
I think it might be a game plan too that's helping him out. The fact that they are, even against Washington, what was it? How many yards a carry the Cowboys get? 3 yards a carry? But they
barely.
Yeah.
But they still
27
showed
runs, though, I think
it was. Yes.
Or 26, something like that.
It is a similar offensive scheme and play calling that what the Cowboys had when Dak was a rookie. In 2016.
I think I don't think they feel any pressure to have him live up to his contract, but I think that they rely so much on his ability to pass us out of trouble that it's just in. I love how you said it. It's just in Kellen Moore's DNA. First of all, it's hard to get that out of him. Right now, I think he's fighting with himself at every game with every game plan because he wants to do a certain thing. But it's contrary to our success because right now we are better off with a more conservative game plan, which is not his style at all.
Especially with the defense that he has. Okay.
It's hard for him to play to that.
You know what? McCarthy had a pretty good comment towards the end of his press conference today. He was talking about that you got to have big plays. And he said we treat big plays as big fundamentals. He goes, when you go into game, I got 6 fundamentals that you have to hit, and one of them is big plays. And when he mentioned big plays, he mentioned that it was like chunk plays on offense, sacks, turnovers, things like that. That all goes into big plays.
Of course.
And he said you want to have 30 a game. And he said this last game we had 31.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And he's talking about whatever the whole thing is, but he said that's what this NFL has come down to because they got into about what's going on with the lack of scoring in the league, and he was talking about the trends that defenses now are playing more scheme on first and second down. Before it was, you go into nickel on third down back in the day.
Right.
Now it's like they're concentrating on first and second down, which is making third down more difficult. And he said they're just scheming more to be more aggressive on those downs. And you got a lot of young quarterbacks now playing sooner than maybe guys did in the day, right? They're not ready. And then and we've talked about it all week, I think, or last week, about just the problems teams are having on the offensive line. The offensive linemen, just
that is the main problem with every team.
Right.
Offensive line. How many offensive linemen? A battle of attrition between offensive linemen in the league. That's just crazy.
See, and I think those guys are the ones that are hindered by the rules we have now in the offseason. Because offensive line they got to be physical, right? Training camp, you got to have pads on. And, you're limited on how much those guys can practice the way they need to practice, right? And you can't have contact or any sort of, contact in the offseason. In OTAs or mini camps, and those are the guys that I think lose it because the defense, it's not as in concert as the offensive linemen have to be, right? You got to pass off, you got to have 2 double teams and things like that. Well, it's hard to do that when you're just walking through, right? And I think that's hampered them, along with the fact of how they play college football. When you see these top offensive linemen, it's like, okay, but did you run block? Because you're going to run block in the NFL.
Much more than in
right?
college.
Yeah. And you're not always quarterbacks, rarely under center. And so, I think all of that's – I don't know if it's caught up with the league or it's just a passing trend, but last night was just an indication.
This year, you will not see this again next year. Rules will be made.
I got this.
There will be some rule changes that will stop all of this because they don't want a guy like me sitting back talking about how boring a Thursday night game was.
I found this stat that last year Stafford threw a touchdown pass in every game on the way to the Super Bowl. He's got 0 touchdown passes in back-to-back games now, for the first time since weeks 15 and 16 of 2016. 2016. He's only got 4 passing touchdowns in 4 games, which I'm sure is one reason why Mike McCarthy was taken back about being a 5.5-point underdog.
He was thinking 5.5. Oh, no, that's too much for us, guys. No, you're on the other end of that.
Yeah,
coach.
right.
What's probably crossing his mind, okay, we've got a backup quarterback, but have you seen all the backup offensive linemen that are out there for the Rams?
That's right.
Which will make a Super Bowl winning quarterback, the most recent Super Bowl winning quarterback, throw 6 picks and only throw 4 touchdown passes the first 4 games.
Yeah. I mean,
it's more picks than touchdowns.
So there's a lot going on right now that's, kind of catching up with these rules of protecting players but not allowing them to improve.
Well, the rules they need to come up with are rules that protect offensive linemen from getting hurt.
Well, that's true, too. Because if you look at the Rams, there's a good chance they'll have their 2 starting tackles and 3 third-string guards and centers in this game.
Now, we'll see
if Edwards makes it
David
back.
Edwards, their starting left guard, missed last game. He has a concussion.
Right.
And so we'll see whether he is back for this game. Their starting center at the beginning of the season, Brian Allen, started against Buffalo. He suffered a knee injury and hasn't returned.
Could be out for the season, I read.
Okay. And their 3rd-round draft pick this year, who is projected to be their starting right guard, he was in a battle with Coleman Shelton in the preseason. Right. On August 20th, he suffered an ACL injury. He's out for the year.
And
then Shelton in this last game left with an ankle injury, and he's going to be out the next 6 weeks, I think. Anyway. So they've got and then they lost Andrew Whitworth off of their Super Bowl team. So Joseph Noteboom has been starting at left tackle. Bobby Evans from Allen, Texas, has moved from backup tackle into one of the guard positions and actually got 7. He had his first start in their last game Monday night at San Francisco at left guard. And so, I mean, that's what you're looking at.
Also, I went back and got their starting lineup from the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They are missing 7 of their 11 offensive starters from last year. Not just injury, right? Just guys, Whitworth.
Austin Corbett, there's one of their starting guards last year, signed with Carolina in the offseason.
Whitworth retired.
Mm-hmm.
Van Jefferson is hurt. I think he's still on. I don't know if he's on injured reserve. Beckham is not there, and that's huge, right? And that's why Kupp's getting all the targets.
Why is
and they even basically changed starting tight ends from the Super Bowl team.
Two things. First of all, why is Beckham still out there? I mean, I'm sorry. I know he was injured.
I think it's probably his own choice. I would think, and if I were him, I would do it this way because the money's not going to be that much different if he signs now or signs a month from now.
Mm-hmm.
See who's the contenders are. I mean, the Rams, they're sitting there 2-2 right now. And, I mean, you sign with the Rams now, well, what if their season goes down? I mean,
keeps going down.
Yeah. And he wants to – obviously, he wants to be on a team that's got a chance to win it all.
But he's really only 7 months removed.
And that's the thing.
ACL surgery.
Yeah, and he gets healthier and healthier as we go along here. And there's no a team is going to pay the same amount of money, I think, for him in November as they would now.
So he's like skipping training camp.
And see, the other hard part about that, recovering from an ACL surgery.
And like you said, only 7 months.
Yeah, because I'm sure the Super Bowl was the middle of February.
Right.
Probably by the time he had the surgery was close to March.
Right.
And here's the other part. He's not on a team. So he's got to go rehab
on his own. That was my point.
Right?
He should be, right now, he should be really rehabbing on his own.
Think about what Britt Brown did for Michael Gallup, right? And he's here.
Yes.
Now he's got to rehab, hire somebody.
I'm sure that won't be an issue, but yes, he would have to do that.
I'd take it week to week and wait for injuries to happen.
But they're not the same team. I don't know who I heard say this. So we refer to the Rams as defending champs. And somebody pointing out, this ain't boxing. When you're a defending champ in boxing, you're the same guy, right? This is not the same team, basically, right? You're not the same team 1 year to the next.
Like, for instance, right now, the Rams have a need, for a wide receiver, obviously. All right. If Buffalo loses a receiver, if Kansas City loses a receiver, if Dallas loses a receiver, play it out. Wait to see what your options are.
Yeah, for Odell.
Mm-hmm. And so my second thing is there going to be a cause and effect from this offensive lineman shortage? I mean, are we going to be looking at...
Start changing offenses?
Well, no, just there'll be a market for offensive linemen all of a sudden.
And guys will say, I want to go be an offensive lineman. That ain't going to happen.
Come on, man. No, you sure? I don't know. If I'm a father, I got a little thick kid over here. Like, hey, man, keep eating, kid. I got you, buddy. we're gonna work.
I think what it's going to be they're already doing this on practice squads. I mean, the practice squads are littered with offensive linemen, and they're trying to develop them and to where they can be functional and competent, And there's a number of offensive linemen who are late-round draft picks or undrafted guys. Cowboys starting one at right tackle and Terrence Steele.
And good athletes.
Yeah. And so it's just you have to continue to mine the field for offensive linemen because
that's funny how it's trending.
It's not so much the money. It's the depth. You got to have
the availability.
Yeah, because the injuries are going to happen, as we found out with Tyron, too.
And you need 5 of them. So that means if you got a backup, you need 10.
And see, that's the other thing is they've shortened. On game day, there are some teams that go to game day with 7 offensive linemen active. Okay. Maybe you have to look at it that, well,
that's why they made the rule about 8 to bring 2 off the practice squad.
So maybe that's where you just go ahead and let everybody be active on game day, and then that you can afford to have more offensive linemen on
such an unheralded position.
That's
right.
Of such importance.
There's another unheralded position that we need to address when we come back.
Here on Mix Shots in a moment.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. You hear that? I'm a torrential downpour. Torrential? What's that even mean? It means you can't see out of your windshield. And if you have the wrong car insurance, you might have to make it rain to fix your bumper. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
The season is finally here. For months, we've been gearing up to win. Now it's time for the team that performs on any field, United Ag and Turf. With John Deere zero turns for mowing, compact tractors for loading, mini excavators for digging, Gator utility vehicles for hauling, implements for grading, hay tools for baling. United Ag and Turf, for winning. The official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com for more.
Back to Mick Shots.
Miller Lite is proud to bring you QBBQ Fest Dallas, located at Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium. Join your Cowboys from November 4th through the 6th for some of the best barbecue in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium.
All right, final 7 minutes here of Mick Shots. Mickey, take it away. What do we need to know?
Okay, they signed 2 deep snappers to the practice squad. One is going to get the job, and from what we saw yesterday and maybe just talking to him, I would think the veteran Matt Overton will get the job. He's 37 years old. He's snapped in the league for what we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, great resume. Great
seven
resume.
teams, all last year with the Chargers. So it sounds like he is going to be the guy. Interesting story about, we never think of this. You know how we kind of kidded about the kicker caravan when everybody shows up? Well, they do the same thing, he said, with the deep snappers. Mm-hmm. He goes, those 4 guys that came here, he goes, I knew 2 of them. Yeah. And it's like we end up meeting at the airport, right? And we share a car.
Ride in the same shuttle.
Right. and probably go out to dinner the night before or whatever. He said, so yeah, we know these guys. And he goes, but you just kind of stay in shape and keep working, and at some point somebody's going to need you. Mm-hmm. And so I never thought of this, but one of the most important things for picking the deep snapper is who can block on punts. Because I think the punt block is
different from field goal.
Yeah, because it's a slower operation. The kick is so fast, right? And the guy doesn't really have time to come over you because you can't line up over the deep snapper. But for a punt, they can angle in and they have more time.
And you might actually have to make a tackle.
Right.
You just might.
Yeah. So that's one of the things
you do
that
have to run down the field.
Yeah, you do have to run. And you're not just running down the field.
That's why Dale Hillestray eventually had to retire.
Yeah, right?
Like, damn, I got to run.
Kelly, he was pretty good.
All right, well, look. I need to know help on my team defensive name for the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. You asked me. I was charged by Spagnola. So I came up with the first one because, we are just so good at just shutting down everything that the team does. And so I look at, what's the best, I don't know, the adjective for that. So the first one I came up with was assassins.
Say it again?
Assassins.
Okay.
Kind of.
Doesn't work.
Immature. Yeah.
Doesn't work here.
Kind of immature. Yeah. I figured that would fall on deaf ears.
Yeah. Doesn't work here.
All right. So now the second one is when our defense gets going. I mean, they are just so overwhelming to the offense. They can't breathe. Okay, they can't find any way out. There's no way up or no way down. The effects of a tsunami. That's the only thing I can come up with, man. The tsunami defense. That's all I can come up with. And both of them know very, very youthful, immature names. But it's kind of hard to beat Doomsday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you can't beat Doomsday 3.
You can't. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say. I can't even come up with something that would match Doomsday. I was hoping my producer Supreme would come pull something out of his butt, but I don't hear anything.
No.
So that's it. That's all I got, man. Is tsunami.
You know what? We'll continue.
We're gonna
continue working on it.
Continue working on it.
I will continue there. Yeah, we'll chalk this up to lesson learned. All right. Otherwise,
one just dawned on me, but you can't use DQ Raiders, but you can't use Raiders. There's a nickname for another team, right? Yeah.
So why we with
you rejected DQ dudes?
And why we with the DQ? Yeah. What's going on? Did I miss
Quinn.
No. You can't put a person to it.
Right.
No, you can't put a person to it.
Well, what was the?
You can't even use Micah. You can't play off one player.
No, you can't use one player.
Was
one
it
coach.
Was it World War I? Who were the Contrail Raider? What was it?
We got to do picks to click.
Oh, okay.
That was like the War of 1812. What are you
was that it?
You're going way back, bro. They were still on horses.
All right, we need picks to click and a pick to win.
Well, these guys play like they're on horses.
Okay, let me start off here. My pick to click. It's going to be a tough game. I do. I think it's going to be very close. I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win 23-20. And it's homecoming time. So I see Fowler as my pick to click.
Oh,
former Ram.
And I considered him.
2 sacks. 2 sacks for Fowler. He was bringing it last week and the week before that.
You know, he's making his participation ratio towards plays.
Yes, plays made, successful plays.
Pretty high.
It is high.
Because he only gets like 20 snaps a game.
So you've been paying attention to Pro Football Focus, huh?
No, I have not. Why? Do they rate that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I could have my own focus.
Yeah, I hope yours is better than theirs. Yeah.
Are you going or am I going?
Go ahead.
All right. My pick to click is a guy who had a kickoff return for a touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown in that same SoFi Stadium in August. Gavante Turpin is going to find the end zone. It will be Turpin time in L.A. once again on Sunday afternoon as the Cowboys are victorious.
Give me a score.
24-16.
So have you got like the Rams game plan? You know they're going to kick to them.
24-16. Wow, what a score! Okay.
The torpedo.
The torpedo.
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 Okay,
I like that.
Yeah, now you want to chime in. Where were you when I needed the nickname for the defense? Now you want to chime in. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mickey?
Okay, my guy, and this is going to be somewhat off the wall, but I think where the Rams are vulnerable on offense is up the middle, and I think we're going to see some blitzing. So let me have Leighton Vander Esch to make a difference.
You're going to get a sack?
And stop the run.
What you got? Okay,
most importantly.
I'm writing this stuff down because I'm kicking y'all's asses. So did you go with a person or a name? A person or a score? What'd you go?
I went with Leighton Vander Esch.
Vander Esch?
Just put LV down.
LV.
That's all you need to know.
LV.
And the score, because we're nobody's underdog. Cowboys 24, Rams 21.
Okay, you got 2 3-point wins, and I got an 8-point win, which sets up the showdown in Philly next week.
Hold on, guys. We got a
which means
interruption here.
There could be.
My pick to click is make sure we know who the left guard is. This is from Nate.
Well, the left guard is Connor McGovern.
Okay.
And J-Ron Curse, I think, will get a full dose because he's been listed as full all week, coming back after he sprained his knee. And that will add to what this defense can do.
Okay.
Especially in those bunch formations that the Rams like to run.
All right.
Got all that down?
Got it. I got it.
Nate also has a pick to win.
Okay. Well,
always shocking.
Always Cowboys.
This is according to Nate, this is the first regular season game, I think. We just got done through the preseason.
That was the preseason?
Yep.
Played four preseason
games. 3-1 coming out of the preseason. So this is the first regular season game, and Nate's got Cowboys by 1 point.
Well,
so there you go.
Last time they were – no, I know they were 3-1 before. They were 3-1 in preseason in '89.
That's what everyone remembers.
Hey, I had a fumble return for 72 yards and a touchdown in that game.
Did you go running off the field arm in arm
with Jimmy?
Yeah,
he came and hugged me. Yeah, he liked me then. That was fun.
Was it the last preseason game?
The last preseason.
The one against Houston?
No, I'm sorry, San Diego.
Oh, okay.
It was the one before that.
Before that, because San Diego was a walk-off field goal. God, I can't remember. I believe that.
Good old days.
I remember it. I mean,
then we had to go to New Orleans, and all was over. Went down.
All the laughter died in sorrow.
We didn't get our picks right that week.
No, we did that entire year.
That's right. All right, that does it for another week of Mix Shots, and we will shout at you again on Monday. When we kick off Eagles Week here on Mix Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.